Should video games reuse the same open worlds across games? In a previous video, I answered yes to this question, bringing to the table 3 wonderful franchises that did exactly that. We're of course referring to the 2 Zeldas for Nintendo Switch, the Yakuza Like a Dragon series, and Pokémon Black and White with its direct sequels. In that older video of mine, I was quite convinced by my answer. However, I only focused on examples of the same franchise, direct sequels to games that had the same characters, the same gameplay, the same style, and a narrative reason for their worlds to be recycled. It makes sense that one way or the other, Kiryu will always find himself under Kamurocho's famous Red Arch. That's just how the universe works. What I barely touched upon is the greater question: should games of different franchises use the same open world? As seen a JRPG set in Assassin's Creed's Alexandria, a hack and slash in Donkey Kong Bonanza's Underworld, a racing game set in Tomb Raider's jungles, these type of crossovers, the ones where the exact same world is used in a drastic different context. The short answer to this particular question is probably not, but one that does deserve a greater explanation and even some counter-arguments. Recycling open worlds can work at a certain extent, both mechanically as well as practically, but to assume that this jumping logic can be blindly applied everywhere is very optimistic. But first things first, roll the intro. Earlier this year, I played Sonic Frontiers, the infamous Sonic game that has this as a main gimmick, the free-roaming open world. I say infamous because it was clear how much Sega wanted to revolutionize the formula to appeal to modern gamers by trying the impossible, to make an open-world Sonic game. I will not say Sonic Frontiers is a bad entry per se, it has its moments and the free-roaming is not that bad, but it is a mixed experience, one that I wish worked better. The main problem the game has, in my opinion, is that these worlds are structured in a quite awkward way. You have these scenic islands themed around nature, with rails and springs placed haphazardly throughout the map. The reason why I bring Sonic Frontiers as my opening example is because this role and these railings perfectly encapsulate the problem of cross-running an open world. Sure, another Sonic game that has a bonus level on any one of these islands may work, since Sonic's type of platforming does make use of these prompts, but other game series clearly would struggle to give this world a place, a meaning. The Starfall Islands are not that impressive, they feel like a prototype of a game made in Unity, yet the random prompts that look very out of place do serve the gameplay's purpose well, do make Sonic Frontiers playable, and to some very long extent, even enjoyable. It may be a bad open world by the books, but it is one that is made for the right game. You may believe I'm cherry-picking a bad example to start the conversation with, but even good open worlds of titles that I enjoyed would either not work or work terribly for another set of inputs. Take Sunset City from Sunset Overdrive. It is also a world crafted explicitly for the rail grinding, making it quite impractical for any other TPS game, let alone of another genre. The world of The Witcher 3 can definitely be reused for the coming sequel. Siri could re-explore a changed Novigrad, one that may have new quests to give out, but can you truly imagine the same area being used for, say, a Pokémon region? It would feel quite sparse and monotonous if the world is not heavily edited to accommodate this new game structure. The towns in the Assassin's Creed series may be pretty, but more than anything they are practical, with houses spaced just the right way so that the characters can climb and run over the rooftops. I would not mind a Shin Megami Tensei game set in revolutionary Paris, but this map, even if pretty, will not be practical. Same story goes for a Crazy Taxi game set in Tamriel, or a Followed Entry set in San Andreas. Regardless if an open world is badly or well made, it is undeniable that developers behind it heavily link the game's structure to the game's flow, to the game's core essence. To transpose a world into a different game philosophy would, in my opinion, be a high gambit. The odds are stacked 1 to a million. It is impossible. But hold on a minute. Impossible? If it is impossible, how to explain this next example, the one you see on screen? For those who are not aware of it or did not watch my award-winning video I made it last year, Wuhu Island, main location of the Wii Sports series, is heavily featured in Mario Kart 7, as not 1 but 2 racetracks. Not to mention it is also present in Palo Wings for the 3DS, Wii Fit, Smash Brothers, and the countless mods out there, from Assetto Corsa to Sonic Generation to Mini Metro to Garry's Mod. Is Woohoo the exception to the rule or a new standard? Is it just a fluke or an indication of something greater? Woohoo is a beautiful location that was designed specifically with modularity in mind. After all, there are like 20 plus minigames in Wii Sport Resorts that take advantage of various geographical characteristics of the isle. There is no corner in this tropical paradise that does not serve a purpose, and every purpose is different from the other. The sandbox in question was not designed with one type of gameplay in mind, but many, making it ideal for repurposing in future entries and even different future games. Mario Kart 7 takes advantage of the roads built across the isle needed for the biking minigame. Pilot Wing is a spiritual successor to the flying minigame, and Garry's Mod, well, that's just Garry's Mods for you. Despite this, I would still struggle to see Woohoo being used for much more. There could be a DLC for Mythopia being set on the isle, but are you truly going to craft the next Dragon Quest around it? The next Kirby? The next Skyrim? Woohoo is insanely well designed, but even she cannot be placed anywhere without a second thought. The vast myriad of open worlds present in gaming history is in my opinion linked to either a specific game or at most a specific franchise that does not allow much recycling when it comes to be repurposed for the future. The special level in Super Mario Odyssey, the Mushroom Kingdom, is heavily inspired by Super Mario 64's iconic polygonal world, but it is clear how much it was heavily modified to satisfy the new gameplay. The same can be said for Donkey Kong Island in Bonanza, but I will not pay 20 euros to elaborate this point further. Yes, I'm still salty about that. The point being is that making a new world inspired by what came before is of course possible and not much of a challenge when done right. What is harder in my opinion is to reuse the exact same open world across franchises. The only game that can truly benefit from Breath of the Wild's Hyrule is another Zelda title. The only game that can truly benefit from Kamurocho is another Yakuza title. The only game that can truly benefit from a given Pokemon region is another Pokemon title. Mind you, as perhaps a bit of a controversial opinion, I do not mind worlds being reused when that entails an evolution in the gaming formula. Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is a fantastic game, specifically because it enhances its previous entry in ways hard to imagine with a simple DLC. The idea that these outstanding worlds go a bit to waste after one title is a bit sad. In the real world, we do not have only one TV series set in New York, one in Tokyo, one in Paris. I'm all in favor when games recycle an open world in a meaningful way, in such a direction that not only gives the world a new meaning, but also allows the creators to build up on the new game in other meaningful ways. We as gamers want to explore new worlds and ideas within our gaming journeys, but this is not to say that we do not like revisiting places we once called our homes, just not in the wrong video game. One thing that is not only more realistic but also more acceptable, as hinted before, is the idea of creating new worlds based on previous iterations. Games like Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee for instance are a fair one-to-one recreation of 2Gs, yet, as is evident by the gameplay, the world of Kanto was given a fresh new coat of paint, one that is not only high resolution but also artistically distinct, charming and cartoony. The same could be said for Koholint Island present in Link's Awakening, a location that went from looking like this on the Game Boy Color to this, a fresh and creative reimagined world for the Switch. Both are virtually one-to-one when it comes to the layout, but they are not the same identical model. Star Fox Assault has its 7 levels set in Sauria, the dinosaur planet of Star Fox Adventures released few years before. The level is a miniature version of the original world of the prequel, by including some recognizable locations but distorting the map enough to make it playable in a newer entry. You get the idea, even if some worlds cannot strictly be used again, either for their obsolete or highly specialized design, that does not inherently mean that us players will not get to see those worlds again. It is a bit of a pity to see, say, the Medici Islands of Just Cause 3, so beautiful in their design and so vast in their scale, being used only in Just Cause 3, but I do not see a scenario where these can be used for anything else, at least as they are crafted 10 years ago, not unless it is another Just Cause game. Inherently, world building is a core part of any video game. That is why usually a bad open world is one that was made without the gameplay in mind, because a world that feels forced or disconnected to the action and game style is a world that is out of pace, hence not enjoyable. Despite recycling open worlds may work within the same franchise, in my opinion, given a few exceptions, it is not advisable to recycle them across different video game franchises. The idea of video games reusing an older open world is quite novel, especially considering that it is a pity to see these vast digital lands never seeing a second light. As discussed in the past, there are examples where this idea becomes a reality within the same franchise, but it is much more complex and impractical when it comes beyond that. There are a few exceptions of insanely designed worlds such as Wuhu Island that made the impossible happen, but on the vast majority of cases it is truly a fantasy hard to replicate, and one that perhaps we should not even feel too bad of not having. Perhaps this is a good enough reason for us to jump in the past to explore some lost gems. If you made this far, I wanted to thank you one too many open worlds times for watching today's video. This was a bit of a footnote to the original video, but one so important that, well, it became its own creation. What do you think about the topic? Is there a specific world you would like to see being transported into a different series? I wish you all a wonderful day, and until next time, arrivederci.